Hi and welcome to our analysis of sandpits and presentation by Group 5. When we think now of our activities during the sandpits, we can say we found them mostly interesting, sometimes challenging and reflective. So here's what we have learned and how we have perceived them and our ideas of how we can link them to the innovation concepts we went through.
Sandpit 1. The test was to assess the resistance and its causes to creativity, boundaries to creativity, and the importance of curiosity. The test assessed creativity and curiosity together. As the majority of the class was curious the minute the sandpit started. In return, this caused interaction between the class. The sandpit brought discussion to small groups, where thinking in small groups increased the creativity. All members contributed as a collective, and as each member's contribution could have been the first step to a brand new innovative idea.
In addition to this, for me, more than a player, I have reflected on the structure and observation as one of the key points when approaching creativity, besides the ability to communicate and articulate own ideas. I've learned that curiosity links closely to creativity and openness when interacting with others, so as that combining and sharing are crucial to enable us to make connections out of our sometimes restricted views. In this sense, how creativity and innovation could be applied as a tool to redesign processes and structure, building a bridge and connecting to a business goal.
In this sandpit, I was trying to make new and creative structures using the Lego pieces. However, when I was running out of ideas and resources, I collaborated with others and observed their work. This resulted me in making better and creative structures. By this, I learned that innovation is a simple process where a person builds on the work of others. In this sandpit, most of the classmates had participated in the game where a racetrack was built using rubber tubes, buckets, and toy cars. We can link this to the concept of pattern recognition, where out of just three things which were different, people had recognized the pattern and built something out of nothing. However, people were binded by the rules of the game and were not open to new ideas. By this, I learned that how vital is collaboration and mating of ideas to make new ideas. This shows that the world is remix and we should embrace this remix.
When thinking of this sandpit, my learning point is related to the fact that everything is connected, from using empathy as starting point to have the creative confidence and knowledge that needs to be applied when innovating. I would argue with the fact that imagination is more important than knowledge, as both are equally essential to create. Furthermore, I found new the idea that we depend on others to create, from ability to make connections, recognize the patterns, to flexibility where actually group sharing stimulates and encourages creativity. I realized that we can't thrive in a vacuum and that exclusion means regression. That everyone has special skills and knowledge that could accelerate our race towards innovating better and faster. This comes from outside as we depend from others. I understand that challenges, lack of resources, imperfections, and diversity are trigger points, and think that knowledge mining and initiative are more relevant than competition if we want to innovate.
Sandpit 3 was another test to assess creativity. Creative thinking was assessed and the skills needed to bring something of use into existence. This is where the skills came into play. Pattern recognition of the components, modeling ideas using the tools, including the sticky tape, and implementing something to combine to new innovation. The model innovation in this instance provided an unknown start. The link found here, in our opinion, was from previous workshop for the innovation structure. This can be used in attempt to solve a technical problem and solutions. Also help find a method of approach in sourcing ideas and identifying a problem and
Plastic lids and tapes were the only two objects in this sandpit. This made people wonder as they were trying to identify a pattern between these objects. We can link this to the concept of trigger points to creativity, in which people were curious about the objects and tried to make something out of it. Moreover, unsolved problems was another trigger point, as people were confused with the objects and no one was able to come up with a particular solution. Hence, everyone started to be creative in their own ways by making something and solving the problem.
I would add that from my learning, generating ideas comes in different forms, involve different types of personalities, exploration, and needs environment that allow the flow of ideas, because it is a combination of aspects that contribute to connect and create a network of which ideas are made from. This can happen easier in a moment of sharing and informal environment. When reflecting this on a business perspective, I understood that considering factors such as the time gap from the idea to its effective realization, so as an array of other aspects need to be considered, and these might interfere with the timing and approachability to an idea realization.
In my views, this sandpit was the hardest of all, as we had just one object, which was toilet rolls. Due to the increased difficulty, the level to be creative and innovative was low. People were not motivated to make something good out of it and ended up just talking of the topic. We can link this to the concept of constructs to creativity, where people did not have the motivation, access to resources, which in this case was extremely limited, and additionally, there were no specific needs to trigger the creativity.
Sandpit 5 was a space used to replicate the Cafe 5 scenario. By organizing this business, could this business have been any more innovative with its distinctive features and settings? Any more innovation was to use its space to engage group discussion. In terms of innovations, this sandpit's importance was to note for every business needs to understand who their customers are and why their customers value their business.
Furthermore, in this sandpit, there were no objects but a new location and environment. Most of the classmates were discussing about the cafe business with the owner. By discussing the business, we came to know that the owner hires an additional Romanian staff for a few days to serve the Romanian customers. This shows that the owner had identified its core competencies, customers, and resources well, which made him innovative in organizing his business. Furthermore, he had also made off-the-menu dish where once again he had identified the requirements of customers and satisfied them. In the last sandpit, we had to bring 3 objects of our own preferences. In my views, this sandpit was a sum up of all the previous ones, mainly because it included combining and collaborating using the 3 objects, being creative in terms of developing solutions, high curiosity with various objects, and finally embracing the remix.
If we look at the activity as a whole, from my perspective, the sandpit has included some of the key aspects when approaching innovation. This could be related to the diversity of personalities involved, trust and sharing, imagination and interpretation, personal contribution, exchange and value. But it could also be seen as an unknown start if we further want to develop and explore, by which I mean that from an entrepreneurial point of view, each object might represent a new opportunity if we are able to leave what we know and go beyond towards a new, unknown, innovative path, starting with something existing.
In conclusion, the number of objects kept reducing as the sandpits passed, and the difficulty to identify the pattern between them kept increasing. Lastly, I would like to add that after seeing this picture, we can see an excellent mixture of cultures and personalities. By collaborating, the mating of ideas to create new ideas, building on the ideas of others, and the overall creativity that this class can produce is unimaginable. Everyone's way of thinking might be different. However, If we all collaborate together in an effective way, we can surely do wonders.